Alright, y'all, hello and welcome. This should be a very hilarious video. Taking a look at, Americans, unfortunately, American tourists who have shown very strongly their, lack of education here in the U.S. and, certain topics, you could say, and their lack of remembering anything they did learn in school. These Americans in the UK, I think you can kind of connect the dots. Proof that they don't really know much about the UK or really anything outside of the US. This should be a good one. It's actually from clips from a video from Another World. This will be linked in the description down below so you can watch this whole collage of clips uninterrupted. We'll be taking a look at just a couple here.
I'm working at a pub in London, right?
All right, here we go.
This beautiful old place in Southwark with wooden beams so dark they're almost black and floors that creak in 17 different spots because they've been walked on for 400 years. It's a Tuesday afternoon, quiet,
it's pretty crazy.
Just a few regulars
For
nursing
me
their
to
pints and reading newspapers. Then this American tourist walks in, and I can tell immediately he's American because he's wearing shorts in October and has that particular look of wonder
Accurate.
that says he's never seen a building older than his grandparents.
Also accurate.
He looks around at everything. The low ceiling with its ancient beams. The fireplace that's been burning since before America existed. The brass rail at the bar that's been polished, smooth by centuries of elbows. And he goes, "Wow, this is so authentic."
It's like colonial times.
It's like colonial times.
All right, look. I am someone who, when I travel, especially going to European countries, going to somewhere very historic, like a pub in the UK, right? That is a very cool experience for someone from the US, right? Obviously, there's historic stuff here, but a lot, less per capita and not in the same way that you would find in other countries. America's still a relatively young nation. A lot of nations like England and other places are just a lot older, right? I don't have a problem with being kind of amazed by somewhere, right? That's totally different. But I'm sure this is going to get worse, right? Look, he's looking around, he's in awe. Okay, that's fine. But strike one here is, wow, it's so authentic. Like, it's like colonial times. Okay, all right. Let's keep going.
I'm wiping down the bar, and
Yikes.
I say trying to be helpful. Well, it's from 1623, so technically it's a bit earlier than that.
A little
He
bit.
nods, really enthusiastic, like I've just confirmed something he suspected. Right.
Right.
So this is like Revolutionary War era.
No, 100 plus. Emphasis on the plus there. Quite a few years off there. But
I
okay.
pause. The cloth in my hand stops moving. No, that's about 150 years later, actually.
Yeah.
But he's not really listening anymore. He's taking photos, turning in a slow circle,
Geez.
absolutely delighted. Then he looks at me and says, with complete sincerity, "This is so cool. It's like you guys kept everything exactly how we built it."
No way.
Built it.
Hold on. Whoa. I was already laughing at how instead of learning something for once, right? Just, yeah. While he's busy turning all around, getting pictures, taking it all in, which is, okay, that's all cute and all, right? But like, they're so locked in on selfies and stuff that they miss out on learning about stuff, right? But then the freaking audacity to say, you guys kept everything exactly how we built it. Oh my God, that is
Everything
insane.
Just stand there. My brain does this thing where it tries to process what I've just heard, realizes it can't, and then just sort of
That is
restarts like a
hilarious.
computer that's given up.
Yeah.
I serve him his pint of bitter. He pays with a credit card, and the whole time I'm wondering if every history lesson I ever sat through was somehow wrong. Maybe
No.
America did come first. Maybe time runs backwards and nobody told me.
Oh my
Maybe I'm the
God.
confused one here.
Uh-uh.
My mate Sarah works as a tour guide at Westminster Abbey, right? She does this job where she walks groups of tourists through 900 years of history, pointing out tombs of kings and queens, showing them where poets are buried, explaining about coronations and royal weddings. She's good at it too. Patient. Kind. The type of person who can explain the same thing 40 times a day and still make it sound
That is a
interesting.
skill.
So,
It's admirable.
she's got this American family on a tour.
Mm.
Standard group. Dad with a camera hanging around his neck. Mum with a guidebook. 2 teenage kids who look like they'd rather be literally anywhere else on Earth.
Sounds like
They're
a
walking through the
stereotypical
chapel, and the dad stops at
American family for like a movie abroad, but I'm sure this is actually pretty accurate in real life for quite a few travelers.
Henry VII's tomb. It's this massive thing, all gilt and marble, absolutely stunning. He's taking pictures from every angle. Then he looks at the tomb, looks at Sarah, and goes, "So these guys were like the original politicians before we had Congress." Sarah goes into professional mode. She's explained this 1,000 times.
Oh my God, these are
Well,
great.
this is Henry VII, who died in 1509, so we're talking about 500 years ago, long before the United States was founded.
Yeah.
The dad nods, but you can tell he's not really getting it. Right, but like, he was basically doing what George Washington did first, right?
Wait. 1509, George Washington, we're talking about 1760s, 1770s, right? 1780s. You know math, right? Like, we all know, like, I can humbly admit that the U.S. education system is quite a bit suspect, right? Geography, world history, very, very murky waters, right? It's very questionable. It depends on the school. 95% of the times it's not very satisfactory on a world stage, okay? But let's forget about all that. You can do math, right? Come on, fellow American travelers, please tell me you can do math. Again, George Washington era, 1700s versus 1509. What comes first?
Whole king thing was just their version of president. His teenage daughter, bless her, she looks at him and whispers, "Dad, I think it was the other way around."
Good for her. Wow, that's tough, though. That's a tough dad moment. Wow. Being that ignorant that your teenage daughter has to say, you know what, Dad, you're wrong. Like, think about it.
And the dad whispers back, totally serious, "Don't be ridiculous, honey. America came first."
Oh, my goodness.
Sarah told me later that she just moved on
my
to the
goodness.
next tomb. What do you even say to that?
How
How do you explain that England had kings and queens for 1,000 years before George Washington was born without sounding like you're being rude?
Right. That's actually a great point. Even if you have the patience of a saint, you're trying to just correct somebody and teach them, at some point when they're being so far off the path, when they're being so, for lack of a better term, dumb or ignorant, even if you try to nicely correct them, it just comes across as rude because they're so wrong about it, right? And unfortunately, I can see, this is not all people. This is not even most Americans, I would hope, right? I mean, this is pretty out there stuff. But unfortunately, it is realistic. There are some people that are just so America first. I love my country, right? I love the world. I want to learn about so many things. That's what this channel is. I do, contrary to maybe popular belief, I do love the U.S., and I want the best for it. Unfortunately, it seems like it's just been a downward spiral in the last 20 years, but that's beside the point. I think it's okay to have pride in your country. I think it's okay to have pride in the U.S. still, but you can't be ignorant. You can't be unrealistic, right? We're not the best. We haven't been for a long time. We have great things here, and we have a lot of problems here. This whole, super patriot attitude, where America's the best, America did it first, America invented everything. It's delusion, right? How do you pull someone out of delusion when they're so far in it? This one's interesting.
The confidence was just too powerful. It created its own reality field that facts couldn't penetrate.
That's funny.
I'm
That's a
at
good way
coffee
to
shop in
explain
Oxford
it.
a few months after that. Not doing anything special,
wow.
just sitting by the window with a book and a cappuccino, enjoying the autumn sunshine coming through the old glass.
It's a vibe.
This American student sits down at the table next to me. She's clearly on a study abroad program.
That's cool.
Got the university scarf, the tote bag with American university pins all over it, the whole look. She pulls out her phone and video calls someone. I'm not trying to listen in. I really wasn't. but she's talking at full volume in a quiet cafe, so I don't have much choice. Oh my God, Mom, you should see this place. She practically yells into her phone. It's like if Harvard was older and had more British people. I nearly spit out my coffee. I managed to swallow it, but just barely. Her mum says something I can't hear through the phone, and the girl responds, No, like, they have colleges here too. They basically copied our whole system, but made it ancient looking. It's so cool.
Oh my God.
Oxford University was teaching students in 1096. That's over 300 years before Columbus even sailed to America. 540 years before Harvard opened its doors.
All right, now what do you do if you're this guy? Do you say anything? At the end of the day, right? Like, people are going to be how they are sometimes. Do you say anything? And if you do, again, even if you're the most patient, nicest person in the room, how do you say something without sounding rude? Because, and you're not being rude, but it's just, you know what I mean? Like, these people that are that far off, it's, wow. I think at that point, I wouldn't even say anything. I just enjoy. I mean, they're putting their conversation on display by being pretty loud in a quiet environment. I think you just take it as it is and tell the story.
But sure,
another
we copied you. We saw what Harvard was doing in the future and traveled back in time to make an older version. That makes perfect sense. Here's the thing, right?
Yep.
At first, I thought these were just random moments. Just a few people who slept through history class or weren't paying attention that day. They covered basic timelines. But then I started actually paying attention, started noticing the pattern, and I realized this isn't rare at all.
Oh my goodness.
This is common. This is a whole way of thinking. The American confidence isn't just confidence. It's bigger than that. It's like the foundation of a building. It holds up everything else. And I was about to discover just how deep this really goes. But that's nothing compared to what happened at the British Museum.
Oh, geez, how could it get any worse, y'all?
I'm there for a work thing, some corporate event where they rent out part of the museum for networking and finger food that's too small to actually fill you up.
Before we move on, it's like, on one hand, I've heard people here, I've also heard people from other countries kind of poke at, like, they admire the American spirit, the American confidence. And I think that's generally a good thing. It is a good thing. I think it's something to admire. But, like, it has limits still, right? To be confident, to be, have a good spirit, a good attitude that you can accomplish things is great. But when that extends into, again, murky waters where you're just too confident, there is such a thing. When you're too confident that you can do no wrong, that your knowledge is never wrong, that you're from the oldest, best country on earth, when that's literally so far from the truth, that American confidence doesn't work as well now, does it? It diminishes good American confidence. Oof, man, this is fun.
I'm standing near the Rosetta Stone because, honestly, if you have to be at a boring work event, you might as well stand next to something that's actually interesting.
Fair.
The stone's right there behind its glass case, covered in 3 different types of ancient writing, looking exactly like it has for thousands of years. Then I hear this voice, American accent, loud enough that half the room can probably hear. Babe, come look at this. This is like the original Google Translate. I turn around. There's this guy, maybe 30 years old, pointing at the Rosetta Stone.
30 years old, too?
He's just made the discovery of the century.
Holy
and honestly,
crap.
That's actually pretty clever. I'll give him that one. The Rosetta Stone basically was ancient Google Translate. It helped us understand Egyptian hieroglyphs by showing the same text.
That's one way to say it.
In 3 different languages. So, yeah, fair comparison. His girlfriend walks over, looks at the stone, reads the little information plaque next to it. Then she goes, "Why is it in London, though? Shouldn't it be in Egypt?" Now, before I can even begin to process the irony of an American questioning Britain's imperial acquisitions, before I can even think about how to respond to that very valid point, The boyfriend jumps in. Well, babe, back then Britain was basically America's parent company, so they collected stuff for the whole empire. We probably have some of this stuff in the Smithsonian. I just stand there, frozen. My brain is doing that thing again, where it tries to understand what it just heard and completely fails.
Yeah.
Britain was America's
Fair.
parent company.
Parent
We
company.
collected things for America.
You know, you just gotta love the American outing themselves as American when it all comes around to spreadsheets, company valuation, parent companies. Everything is stocks and money and companies and corporate. The corporate takeover of your mind and DNA in the U.S. Welcome to the United States, where that is like one of the quickest ways to spot an American. I've learned, like third person learned, that everything is about corporations and money, and that's it. It kind of trickles down into people's thinking of anything. Seeing the Rosetta Stone, being in a different country, and we're still thinking, yeah, Britain was America's parent company.
Every single part of that sentence is wrong. Not just a little bit wrong, completely, totally, absolutely wrong. But he says it with such confidence,
Yeah.
such absolute
Something else,
certainty,
right?
like he's explaining something obvious to someone who just doesn't get it yet. And she nods, satisfied with this explanation, and they move on to look at the Egyptian mummies. I seriously considered following them around the museum just to hear what else they
I know,
come
I
up with.
would. I
But
kind
I
of
had
would.
to go pretend to care about quarterly reports. My friend Jane.
All right, we'll do one more. These are hilarious. Remember, this is a whole collection of stories, like 30 minutes. We're just looking at a couple of them. What do y'all think so far? I think the comments ought to be good on this one. Yeah, the level of confidence and ignorance is just, we don't lead a lot of stats anymore, except usually negative stats, unfortunately. But boy, I mean, yeah, that's a negative stat. We lead. We definitely, I think we are a contender for top 3 in the world when it comes to confident ignorance.
Drives a black cab in London.
That's cool.
He's been doing it for
Love the
15
London cabs.
years. Knows every street,
That's impressive.
every shortcut,
in any city, I
every
think that's
bit
cool.
of London trivia you could possibly imagine. He's picked up everyone from celebrities
That's
to
also cool.
politicians to regular people
Bunch of
just
stories,
trying
I'm
to get
sure.
home after a long day. He's heard every possible conversation you can have in the back of a taxi.
Love it.
So he picks up this American couple from King's Cross Station. They're
Alrighty.
heading to their hotel in Kensington, which is a decent ride across the city. The guy starts chatting immediately, friendly enough, asking questions about London. So, is this like your version of New York City?
Oh.
James has dealt with this before.
Oh,
He's
man.
patient. He's professional. London's about
No.
2,000 years old, mate. Predates New York by quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
The American nods along. Oh, sure, but like functionally. Big city, lots of people, finance stuff. It's
Gotcha. So we got proven horribly wrong. That's deflect now. So now, even though it's older and established and blah, 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 let's say it's like New York, right? Big city, lots of people. It's still basically New York, like my first statement, right?
basically New York, but European,
Sure.
right?
Sure,
James
bro.
is driving through traffic, navigating between buses and cyclists, and he's thinking about how to explain this.
Yeah.
He could talk about how London was already a major world capital when New York was still called New Amsterdam and was basically just a small trading post.
Right.
He could mention that London has been a center of global power for centuries, while New York is, historically speaking,
Very young.
pretty young. But he decides none of that will actually land.
Smart.
He just says something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
But the
I was going to
guy's
say.
not done.
That's what I would say if I was the cab driver. You think of the logical explanation, but after that first one, it's just not going to land, right? It's not going to land. So you tough it up and you just yeah, pretty much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's basically all you can do, right? Some people are helpless.
He settles back in his seat, looking out at the London streets going by, and says, "Makes sense. We basically took your blueprint and supersized it, American style.
Supersized it.
James,
Everything's corporate, money, companies, or fast food. I want a supersized McBurger from McDonald's, supersized fry, you know the drill. American style.
basically took your blueprint and supersized it,
That is
American style.
painfully accurate.
James told me later that he had to pull over. Just stopped the cab right there on Cromwell Road because he was laughing so hard he couldn't see straight to
That's
drive.
hilarious.
Not laughing at the guy, he made sure to tell me. Just laughing at the sheer audacity of it. The pure confidence it takes to believe you can supersize 2,000 years of history
See?
like it's a meal at McDonald's. The couple thought he was having some kind of medical emergency. He had to explain he was fine, just remembered something funny, and then drove them the rest of the way trying
That is
not to crack up again.
hilarious.
Right. But the absolute peak of this, the Mount Everest of American historical revisionism, happened to my cousin at a house party in Manchester.
All right. You guys can check that out with the link down there, the original video. I will be watching this whole video on my own time. This is pretty funny. I'm going to cut it there. A little bit of a shorter one today. It is a Monday, right? Hope you're not working too hard either. This was actually pretty clever, pretty hilarious. A little more in depth, right? We look at funny interactions and comments and stuff from people around the world, especially Americans, and talking to people from Europe and Australia and what have you, right? But this was a little more in depth, a little more anecdotal, and some stories that people when they really kind of get the room to talk about it, it is it is just awesome. It's hilarious. And it's kind of incredible, the lengths of, ignorance and blind confidence that some people have, especially abroad, right? It is really something else. Look, I'm an American. I want to travel as much as I can when I get the chances, right? Again, I don't think everyone should just know everything about everywhere, especially even when you're traveling, but to know some basics, and most of all, just be chill, be eager to learn, be happy to be there, and not slap people with American facts that are painfully wrong. That's probably a good start to the playbook, right? Just be chill and don't act like wherever you're at, copy their whole everything from the U.S., especially anywhere in Europe. That is just hilariously ironic. I promise not all Americans are like this, but unfortunately there is quite a few that are. So, yep, I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, it should be a great comment section on this one. Whew. Maybe we'll have to look at some of these in a future video. And honestly, if you made it to the end, I salute you, right? I mean, this is a lot to get through when it gets kind of worse and worse when it comes to the total shit show that some of these tourists display in these stories. So that was fun. I appreciate you. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, y'all. Catch you later.